I'm your host today. Today we have Andrea Jensen here from ACE Training or ACE Training, right? And we're going to be talking about how to use Microsoft OneNote. So I always look forward to your sessions, Andrea, because you're such a great educator and easy to follow along. Now, Microsoft tools are used in so many businesses, but we can perhaps use them more effectively. And that's why we're here today, is to, get familiar, but also start to improve our efficiency so that we can get some of that precious commodity called time back.
Most definitely. Well, right.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen with you because I've got this lovely little PowerPoint for you. Anna Marie, you can just check that that's going for me.
And do you want questions throughout or at the end?
I don't know, maybe perhaps if there's not too many on the call, we can have questions as we go. Yeah, if there's anything I can answer. And anything I can't answer for you, I'd be more than happy to find out, and I could feed back to Anna Marie and she can get back to you with some little tips that I was able to find for you. So as Anna Marie said, yes, I'm Andrea and I'm from ACE Training. We are a nationwide training organisation. We do a lot of user training for lots of applications. Microsoft is one of our favourites, and today we're presenting a little seminar on OneNote. Now, those of you that may have never really known about OneNote or have overlooked it, you're in for a real treat today. So we're going to find out what OneNote is. A lot of people just think it's just a thing that arrives with Windows, and in essence, yes, it can be, but it's also a very, very powerful tool that you can utilize with your Office 365 environment. It's got lots and lots of features that integrate into that Microsoft 365 environment too, so fabulous. So we're going to see what OneNote is and what the great things about OneNote are, and I love OneNote, so you're going to hear all those cool things. You're going to see OneNote in action because I'm going to take you through how we utilize OneNote, ways we can do it, things we can do that can make things really, really efficient for us. And I'm also going to show you how you can use OneNote with your Teams and SharePoint. Now, Teams and SharePoint is taking off like a rocket. Lots and lots of organizations are using Teams as their platform to communicate with their wider team, collaborate on documents and files and all sorts of activities, and OneNote's one of those. And to use SharePoint as that common collaborative space for document libraries and sharing and lists and all sorts of cool things. So it really is becoming quite a thing. So I'm going to just take us through this and let's have a look. So first things first, I might actually just take myself off camera. I think that might be quite a good idea. So no distractions if I'm moving my head around. So what's OneNote? Now, I always like to think of OneNote as being those good old-fashioned days where I remember as a child, I had this big scrapbook. And a scrapbook was generally, I think I used to get one every school holidays, to be fair. Excuse me. And it was nothing more than a paper-based book, and the paper wasn't even that great. I'm sure it was just the same as newspaper, nothing really special at all. But I used to put things like, little treasures I'd find. If I went to a movie, I might put the movie tickets in because that was really special in those days. Birthday cards or pictures that I really liked, and then I'd draw on it. Now, I like to think of OneNote as being an electronic scrapbook, just like that. And it's for business. And it's a place to share ideas and files and meeting minutes, and you can sketch things and you can put links in and you can do video and voiceovers and absolutely anything and everything. So we talk about it being an electronic scrapbook, but it's also for a place where you can collaborate on ideas. So, everybody can have a say. It's a little bit like a whiteboard on steroids, if you like. So ideas can be shared in one place, being in the cloud, as we sort of get to know a bit more about the cloud these days than we did. But the cloud being that one place where everyone can meet together, whether you're in person or not, and collaborate in a space. And OneNote has a very, very cool feature for that, because as we've already talked about, you can do sketching, you can do writing, you can share all sorts of information with each other and know you can go there and find it. So like a little Wikipedia type of thing. Okay, so how does it actually work? So first things first, someone will create a notebook. And that's like getting your blank book, opening it up and having your fresh pages there. So you can make a workbook for personal reasons. You can make it for a team. You can make the SharePoint. You can make it as a shared notebook. So you create the notebook in the first instance. And then like any type of notebook or filing system, you would add some sections to it. And inside those sections, then you might add some pages to it. And then, of course, then you're ready to go to contribute into this rather large notebook. Now, for me personally, I use a OneNote notebook every day for business. My notebook is called my company name where I'm working. The sections are generally, I will have a section per client. I have a digital boost section because when I'm preparing to do notes for these sessions, I love being able to go to OneNote, finding my section on digital boost and looking at all the ideas and capturing things about, oh, that session I'm going to do on OneNote. Oh, here's some ideas I might use in it. So it's a great way of just putting really quick ideas down. And then I might add pages to organize that information into sections of useful things that rather than just dumping it all on one page. And then I just keep coming back and coming and going on it. That's me personally. But of course, like I said, you can do personal, but you can also do a business-wide notebook, which could be a Teams notebook or a SharePoint notebook. Now, those of you that are familiar with Teams may know that in Teams, we can have shared anything. We can share documents together, we can have meetings together, and we can also share this idea of a OneNote notebook. And every team, in fact, has its own notebook. So it's a great way of saying, excuse me, we're a team, let's get together and let's collaborate on this notebook, which is better than just using a shared document that might be going backwards and forwards, but that's always good as well. Maybe a whiteboard that you might be scribbling on in the office. Think of it like that you can put anything on it, a notice board, a whiteboard, or a document sort of sharing space as well. And SharePoint has the same. So for every SharePoint site that's created in your Microsoft 365 tenancy, there is also a SharePoint notebook. So that also has its own place for you to go and add things. And it's really great because SharePoint's quite structured. Sorry, excuse me. SharePoint's quite structured in that you have document libraries, you can have lists, you can have forms, you can have all those sorts of things. But it's really hard finding a general space. And that's where a SharePoint notebook can come into its own. All right, what can we do inside a notebook? Let's have a look. Well, starting from the top here, you can do things like, believe it or not, you can put your meetings and your meeting details in here. And these are things I'm going to show you today. You can add things like web page links or clips to things or pictures you found or anything like that. You can actually have your OneNote set up with page templates. So you can have pre-formatted templates that you go to that page, you fill in the template content based on the details that's there in the background. Really, really good. And you can make your own. Some are provided, and you can actually save a particular style as your own personal template as well. You can search for content in amongst your OneNote. And Mari and I were just joking about our little bits of paper that we might have here and there. If you're anything like me, I love sticky notes as well, but unfortunately sticky notes lose their stick and they tend to blow away or blow off where you've stuck them. Or you might write them there and think, why did I write that? So imagine using something like a OneNote as an alternative to a sticky note. You can quickly pop something in there and you can even search for it. No more blowing off the notice board or off the top of the screen, which is often what happens to me. Another really cool thing about OneNote is that you can record inside it. And this is using the Microsoft feature of recording a voice. So you could speak or dictate something that you might like to record rather than write it or type it. And you can also record video from there. You can take screenshots from there. And there's another very cool thing which I'm hoping to show you, and that is that you can even handwrite. And if your handwriting is not too bad, it can actually convert your handwriting into text, which I think is pretty cool. So that's some pretty awesome things you can do. And of course, being good old-fashioned Microsoft as well, they're very, very hot on protection. And so there's opportunities for us to share, not share, protect, and all those sorts of things that we like to do as well. So we know that we've got that security and we can have that confidence in the product. So are you excited? I hope you are already, because I pretty much like OneNote. So what can you use it for? So here's developing it a wee bit more. We can use it for good old-fashioned text, and that comes in the style of a text box, I guess what you might call it. A little text box appear, and you pop your text in there, and then off you go again. We've got like pictures and scans. So you could take a picture or bring in an image from anywhere, a scanned document, maybe a PDF could come in as well. Like I've already said, video clips and audio, screenshots and screen recordings. And screen recordings are pretty cool. I don't know if any of you have delved into Microsoft's capability of being able to record your screen steps as well, which is a pretty cool thing. If you want to show someone how to do something, you do a quick recording, click here, click there, and then you'll end up here. And that can be recorded as a screen recording. Very, very useful for training or reminding yourself how you did something, because that's a goodie as well. We can have links to web pages as well. And like I've said, handwriting of link to text. And for the mathematicians amongst us, I'm not really going to go too far into this today, but if you're a mathematician and you like those big, long equations that I can never read or understand, complete with the Greek symbols, you're going to love this too, because there is an equation editor in here too. So that might be something that you have in your radar. And of course, we can put files inside of our OneNote folders. Files, links to files, actual files themselves can appear as content on our document or in our pages. Just amazing what we can do. All right, okay, the other thing, like I said, we can do is we can use OneNote in the cloud, and we can use OneNote on a desktop. So good old Microsoft being Microsoft, it looks after us by the 365 cloud environment, which means our OneNote is always available. It also means that we can collaborate because we have Teams and SharePoint and so on, but we can also hold a copy down in our desktop as well. And if you follow my mouse just to the bottom of my screen, I've kept my taskbar visible here, and you can see my OneNote down here is available on the desktop as well. And that's always really, really helpful. And just like everything Microsoft, there is a browser view and there is a desktop view. So often, and I prefer often to work in my desktop view of most of my applications, because the toolbars are readily available with all the features that I like. However, if I have to be working in browser view, it's usually because I want to make a change on the fly or quickly pop something into, in this case, my OneNote. And so the browser environment is absolutely perfectly adequate. Okay. So let's have a look. We can have a look at a few things. I'm going to show you a few bits and pieces of what to do and how to do them, and hopefully you'll get some ideas for yourself, and maybe get the urge to have a look at OneNote for yourself. So I'm just going to pop down to my edge here and start with this part right here. Now, you would have heard me say that we can have OneNote in Teams, and this is my first example of that. I'm going to go back to the second. So I'm going to pop up to my actual browser view of my notebook. This is the one I created especially for us today for Digital Boost. And you can see here, this is the notebook that I created. On here, you can see, like I said, we have the name of the notebook. We also have, and we're clearly in OneNote, and I'm in the browser. You can tell that because of the waffle. Those of you who've been on my seminars before will remember that the waffle is the 9 dots and the hamburger is the little squashed 3 lines, good old Microsoft jargon for us. But the OneNote shows me that I'm in the browser version. Down the side here, this is my indicator to say that these are notebook. I'm in the notebook, but this is to hide and show my navigation pane, which is this little area here. Now, of course, when you're on a laptop, this can look quite squishy. So it can be quite good just to hide and to show, hide and to show. Now, I like to think of this a little bit like having a folder. And I remember from days of being at school where I'd have my folder, my big E-Slide, I think it was called in those days, and you'd open it up and there'd be the coloured tabs on the right hand side, And in my early days of schooling, I could usually manage to get one coloured tab per subject. So one for English, one for maths, one for biology, one for geography, and so on. And that's a little bit like what we would call our sections here, our sections. So we call these sections inside of OneNote. Right down the bottom here in my browser view, I would add a section just by clicking at the bottom. And I could call it my name. And imagine if I wanted to use my good old school days and call it history, that might be what I do. And I could okay that. There we go. I now have a history section. I can move these up and down just by dragging and dropping. And very, very happily, it will do that for me. So I have got one main section in here called my project notebook. If I don't like the name of this, I can rename it. I might call it my Digital Boost section because we're doing Digital Boost today. Let's do Digital Boost. Very, very easy to do this. Now, as I said before, when I'm working in my work environment, I would tend to have one section per client. And I love that because I can quickly go to my client. I'm working for Digital Boost today, and here's all the pages that I may have developed with anything that I think is going to be useful for my Digital Boost client, for example. So I've got some ideas worth sharing, just a simple page. I've got some more ideas. I've got some extra pages here where I put bits and pieces. I'm going to go through those today. But if I wanted to add another page, because I don't have enough, right at the bottom here, I can add my page, and there it is. And I call this my, I'll call this my very special page, so it stands out. My very special page. And like I said before, sorry about the typing, what I said before, it's a bit like having a folder. So we have our SLite file, which is our folder. We have our sections, which are our tabs down the side. And then we just keep adding pages within, as we would do with a normal folder. All right, and there we have it. Okay. The other thing I said to you was that there is the browser view. And inside our browser view, we have some capability, but we don't have as much capability as if we use this on our desktop. So we can still do things like changing fonts, and we can do color and shape and size, add bullets, all sorts of bits and pieces, but it's not the ideal place to work. So what I'm going to do for this little exercise, I'm going to take us down into our desktop version. So just give me a second while I pop it up from down the bottom here, click it to here, and there's my desktop version. So no longer do I have a waffle. Okay, I now have a fully fledged desktop version of my OneNote showing here. Just pop you back there to show you the difference. So that's where I was on my very special page that I created here. And now I'm popping back to my digital one down here, which is on my desktop instead. Now, all my tabs will appear across here. Now, once I have got synchronization working, which I don't actually have that as an automatic feature today, then my special page would appear. If it's not already here, I don't think it's appeared yet. It's not here yet, but my special page hasn't quite appeared here. My history tab has. Okay. Don't think my page has appeared though, no. So it will just take a wee time for that synchronization to happen. But you can see that I made history, literally made history, during my web browser experience. And so you can see that it's automatically made the tab for me here. And this is a section. Looks a little different, doesn't it? So we had our tabs down the side as sections, but in our desktop view, we have our tabs across the top. Now, our workbook information is here. Our notebook information. If we click onto here, we can see any other notebooks. And you can see I've got lots. A few of them are test notebooks, some of them are private notebooks, and some of them are business notebooks as well. So I can show whichever notebook I want, and it's very happy to let me do that. If I require a login to a different Microsoft 365 space, all I have to do is provide that. So if you work in 2 different places, I often work in several Microsoft environments, I can just choose it with my credentials and I can get into the notebook that's on offer. Okay, all right. So how would I add a new section here? Very, very easy. Let me show you. I'm going to add a geography section. Here we go, back to our school idea. Clicking up here, I'm going to create a new section here. And as you can see, immediately it's asking me to name it. I'm going to call this one geography, just to bring back the old school thing. And there it is, geography. And I click, and then I could name it here as well. And I would tend to probably name it the same. However, I might want to put a little more detail here. I might want to call this Geography 101 because I can't really put that on my tab, a little bit too much information, but I could also name it here. What else might I want to do in here? Well, I might need some pages to do some work on. So I can pop over here to my add page, and here it is, add my page here, and I can add any new page that I like. So when we start a section, we always have a default page, and you can see here that my Geography 101 has been my default page, and I've just added a second page. So this could be all about New Zealand. Here we are, all about NZ. And there we go, my second page is ready to go. Very, very easy. We just keep adding pages and changing them at will. If I don't like the name of my page, I can just overtype it from here very, very easily. If I don't like the name of my tab, I can right click and I could rename it from here very, very easily. And we're going to look a little bit more about what we can do in tabs a little bit later down in my demonstration. Okay, but I'm going to pop us back to our very, very first tab here called my digital book section. So it's my digital notebook section. I've prepared a few pages here just to remind me what I want to show you because I don't want to miss anything. One of my first things I've got here is my ideas worth sharing page. Now, OneNote I love for ideas. It's a great place just to think about something and pop in really, really quickly and just type. So here I go. I can say, oh, I've just had this great thought. And all I need to do is to click and say, I have a great idea. And as you can see, if I can spell, or spell check works as well, by the way, as you can see, I have a great idea. Immediately, a text box has been created on my behalf. And there it is. And this text box is fully movable. So it's a little bit of a different concept. I know we're used to clicking into a Word document and typing into a very structured space, or we click into Excel and we've put information into a very structured cell. But remember, this is a scrapbook. And what do we do with scrapbooks? We move things around, we put them where we feel like it, and we just move them into place. So I love that. Just move them around anywhere you want. Right clicking on this little text box as well, you've got options to do all the formatting that you'd like, the usual things that come up. We can cut it, we can copy it, we can change the contents inside it. If we want to paste something inside, we've got our same features that we have in all of our Microsoft products. We can delete it, okay? We can select it anywhere we want, okay? Move it, resize it, all those things. But the other thing we can also do is when we click on it here, is we can manage it from its edges. I can shrink it and stretch it. I can just add more to it to grow it. So it's very versatile, and it's a very, very versatile, just little text box that I can do what I want with it. And I can say, I know what to say about this, and I want to tell you about that, and I want to tell you about something else. Okay, like this. Now, once I'm inside here as well, I've also got opportunity within my text area to pop into my home tab. And in my home tab here, I'm not just limited to boring old Calibri 14. I can utilize my styles. Now, they're not quite as simple or quite as, sorry, I won't say simple, it's the opposite to simple, not quite as versatile as what my styles were in my Microsoft document. But I can choose from styles here. So I might make that one heading 1, and I might make these 3 of them into maybe perhaps either a normal, or I could say these are a heading 2 or something like that. So I do have some flexibility with my text management. I've also got my formatting on my paragraph formatting here, so I can indent, I can use bullets, I can use numbering, I can do all those cool things. It's a little bit unforgiving, and if I want to add more. So just to sort of let you know on this, notice that it doesn't necessarily pick up my heading styles. And if I wanted to misalign and start numbering again, it's very hard for me to start renumbering. So it does have a few limitations, but hey, we can live with those. I'm sure we can. We can remove the number and change to a bullet, but can be a little bit, yeah, okay, not quite so forgiving. Right, not quite so forgiving. So you have to work a little bit with it to get it to do what you need it to do. But I genuinely believe that this is an amazing product to use. Now, what else I put into here? So I've also been able to insert some things. I could insert from here. I could insert something like a picture, which I've already done. So I've just chosen a picture, and I chose an online picture, and that's where I got this picture from, just like we do with any other document or any other Microsoft product that we might use. The other thing that I can do from here is inside of here, I've also got those text items, but I'm not limited to that. I can also use my drawing feature. Now I could handwrite. Now some of you may have tablets, or you may have your cell phone. Oh, now that's a novel idea. I have my cell phone on hand, and my cell phone is connected to this. Hopefully it's going to work for me. It's connected to this OneNote. Oh, please let me work. Please let it work. I might have to go to Teams to do this one. All right, but I'm actually working on a OneNote in my phone, but I'm going to show you how this works as a collaborative document when we get back to Teams, because I've got it loaded on my phone, ready for Teams, and it's going to then help me collaborate. So we'll get to see that soon as well. All right, what else can we do? Let's have a look. In my next tab, my next page, other things I can do, I can use my insert. In my insert here, I've got so much information that I can provide in OneNote. So I can insert a table, just like I insert a table in Word, very, very easily. There it is. I choose my content, the way that I want it to look, just like that, and put my information into my table. And hey presto, look what else I have. I now have a table tab, just like we see when we're using Microsoft in Word. If I click away, the table's gone. If I click back on again, the table is back. And when I click on the table and work on it, I can do pretty much a lot of the things that I can do when I'm using it in my natural environment. I can delete rows, delete columns, insert, hide, do shading, all sorts of things as well. A little bit limited, but it's still adequate for just using on the OneNote directly. Now I can also import from another environment. So I could import a table from Word, could drag and drop a table from Word, I could import an Excel sheet, and so on. And if you have a look at this one, as I click on table here too, in the table tab here, you'll see this one here, I can convert it to a spreadsheet. So it's very cool. I could instantly turn this into an Excel sheet and start working on it as such. And any second, and there we go. It's turned it into a spreadsheet. All right, so I can start using it like normal Excel. And there we go. All right, those of you that are Excel users, I'm not going to give you an Excel lesson today, but hey, that's for another session. But as you can see, it's very, very, very versatile. I've got all the basics of the Excel management here with my tabs, my ribbons, and all the features that go with it. And that's pretty cool. Okay, going to come back to my OneNote again. Here we are. So left it as it is, that's staying there. You'll notice that one thing that you may find a little bit sort of hard to get used to is that, remember, these are all individual object items on the page. Remember, we're talking about a scrapbook, not a structured document. So you will find things will move around a little, but the good thing is you pick them up and move them, and you can also resize. Okay, so you've got the option to resize according to the shape that you are working with. Just something to keep in mind. So my document down here, I might want to just rearrange that a wee bit. I have to move it up into place, just like I would doing if I was using a paper scrapbook. All right, now you notice here that I have a Word document sitting here. Okay, and this Word document is based on this one called Digital Boost. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Let me just go and find my very special page here, which is blank at the moment. I'm going to show you how I did this. I went up to the insert and I inserted a file printout first of all. So this allows me to print out something that I've got already in a file view or a file style, I guess, and show it as an actual document inside OneNote. So here we go. And I got this one here. Let's see which one should we have. Let's have this one called video skills. There we go. I'm going to insert that. Here we go. And there's my document. Okay, that's my video skills one. If I close that one, back to my, and here it is here. So my very special page has now got a document all about video, and it just came from my normal Explorer or wherever else my storage was, and came in here as an actual document where I can read the whole thing. Okay, my link back to the document is here. So it's connected to me. At any stage, I can click on this and I can go back to the original, and there it is. Make my changes and call it Andrea's About Video. About Video document, and there we go. And if I was to close that, right, close that, and we're going to save it, yes, come back to here, and it hasn't refreshed, sorry, but if I went back to here, it would come back. Okay, I need to reload that again. I did that one more time. I could go to Insert Printout. And remembering that because it's a printout, it's going to be a static image, whereas it still gives us the option. Oops, it hasn't updated itself. Sorry about that. Wonders of technology and instant work. But the fact that it's been saved and brought back in, it will naturally come back in as the changed document. Okay, I can promise you that. If I didn't want to actually attach the printout itself, I could have just attached the file. And again, I could just go, this time maybe I'll do my facts about coffee, it's a different one. And there it is. I again have the option to attach the file or attach the printout. So if I was to attach the file, it just gives me the link. So these are great ways of just being able to throw things into your OneNote area and be able to access them really, really quickly. Now, another one that we can do as well, and it's a bit hard for me to show you today, but you could also bring an email in. If I could see if I can quickly grab something here. Not sure if I've got anything here that I can grab you here. Oh, here we are. Here's just a Microsoft one. And again, as you can see here, I can just attach it as a file and say there's a link to an email. So good and so easy just to bring information in from another place and just have it there at your fingertips. And I can quickly, as you can see, double click on this and go straight to that email. Absolutely wonderful. All right, so everything that you've got can be brought into here. It's like gluing into a scrapbook. All good. All right, spreadsheets are the same. I've got a little page here called Spreadsheet that I'm going to show you. Same thing. I can insert a spreadsheet. Now, when I'm inserting a spreadsheet, I can look for an existing one, which I've done here. That was my budget that I loaded into here. Won't do it twice, but that brings in my budget right here. Okay. If I want to go back and work on my budget, I can click on here and go back to my budget. It will open up into Excel any second now. It's gone to, and here, there it is, there's my budget here, and I can work on it. All right, so I could work on my budget here. So it gives me a direct link back to where my budget lives. So it's a fantastic, like I say, a great way of getting back to things. And remembering that with OneNote, and when we take it into the Teams environment and we're doing a collaborative exercise, it means that we could bring a file into OneNote and have others contribute to it. So it makes a very, very good portal or opportunity for us to do that. All right, what else can I do? What about web page links and clips? So another example we've got here is something I absolutely love, and it's using screen clipping. Now, screen clipping is great because it's a little bit like what we used to call the snipping tool. But what I love is that it's actually a clipping of your screen. So if I was to do this, it would take me here. I could very easily just grab a picture of what I'm doing here. It happens to be the screen that was there when I did it. Pop back to my notebook here, and whoops, there it is there. And there's my screen clipping has popped right into the space here. So that's really great. If you've got a website behind, or pop the website, just within reach, grab it, take a snapshot, bring it back in here and pop it in as an image. And again, remembering it's only an image, so you would have to treat it as such. So as you can see there. Also tells me, as you can see at the bottom, when my screen clipping was taken. So that can be very useful as well. Also got pictures that I've already shown you, online pictures, which ones you can get from the internet and so on. It's another great one I love, inserting a video. Now, some of you may have video clips that you quite like to insert. So I'm going to show you how you might do this. I'm just going to pop to another one I prepared earlier for this. I'm going to click here on insert video. Now, when you're inserting a video, It's really important that you get the correct link and it's done correctly. And that's what I've done this sort of screenshot for you for. I'm going to show you how to do it. I would click on my online video here, and you can see here that it's waiting for a video address. Now, very importantly, if you're collecting something from, for example, YouTube or Vimeo or somewhere like that, it's really important that you get the correct address format. And if particularly for YouTube, because I know a lot of people get things from YouTube, I was able to get this clip here, which is actually a working clip. I'll just cancel that to show you it is actually a working clip. You'll see it's going to work any second now. There it goes. It's actually working. It's from YouTube, and it's actually operating on my via my OneNote. Stop that. But I needed to get the actual address by coming to the playing part of the video and looking for the share button. This is really, really important. The share is so important. When you click on share, this comes up, and it's important that you copy that particular address. So when you're doing your link, you would then copy it, and that would be where your link would be. Oops, sorry, your video link. Whoops. So your online video link must show that here. Okay, I don't think I've still got it there, no. All right, so that's very, very important. Something to keep in mind. Always go to share. Look for that very strange looking YouTube description, and you'll notice it is actually quite strange because it's got a u2.be, and that's actually quite significant. So just remember to do that, and it'll save you a lot of anguish. If you don't want to do it from there, from online video, you could always share it from a link anyway, because again, you could put that very, very special YouTube address right here, and then you could link it via the link option. So it's just two options for the same thing. You can put text there instead of the your own text. Now, something else that I did here as well, and I'll show you this one here. If I wanted to put a link into my sheet from, say, for example, another notebook, I could use my link function. So my link function here, I could then go to a notebook that I like. I could say it's my, let's have a look down here, pop down to my, here's my digital notebook here. I could put a link straight to my history, and it picks up our lovely link here, puts it in here, and I'm going to put in here history section, link. Okay. And that will put that link onto this one, and okay. And there it goes. And there's my history section quick link. If I click that, sure enough, it's going to jump me to my history section here. So you've got lots and lots and lots of cool things you can do. I'm hoping you can see why we call this a scrapbook, because it really is, it's quite scrappy, but it's very, very, very versatile. And that's what I love about it. All right, let me take you to this other area here. Now, this is a fantastic area too. Taking us back to our home area here first for this. Now, inside of our home page here, we can make this information that we've captured as text a lot more useful to us. And what I mean by useful is that we can ask it to link back to Outlook, which is pretty cool. Now, imagine the purposes for this. One thing might be that you're setting yourself a task list. Another thing might be, like you've already seen, that you might want to bring an emailer into your OneNote so you can quickly go back and check on something that's happened. Or perhaps in that email, you've been given a set of things or agenda items or things for you to do, a set of tasks. Those tasks could be stored inside of OneNote. And with the features of OneNote, we can use something we call tagging. And what tagging does, it allows us to take a group of items. I've just made a make-believe list here, set it up already, but I've utilized this area here under home and under tags to tag my items. Now, these are quite cute and pretty, really. They're the sort of things you might do with a highlighter pen or a scribble on a notebook, but you can choose to mark any of your tasks with a particular tag. Now, I don't have anything against create a plan. This is just a list that I've just used, type, enter, type, enter, type, enter, nothing special. My create a plan at the moment has a to-do next to it. I've marked it with a to-do, okay? I can also mark it as, so if I mark it as a to-do, you'll notice that a square appears. If I tick it again, it appears with a tick, which means pretty much it was something to do, like that, and now it's been done because I have a tick beside it. And that's just purely for my benefit. It's not for any other reason except my own. However, I can also do more things with that. Now, I could add extra tags to it. I could say, oh, I might just have to remember this one for later. And what does it do? It marks it for me. Or I might want to do something else. I might want to mark it as critical, perhaps. So you can see all these tags are now appearing against my tasks. Now, if I go back up to my task area again here, I've got an option here called Find Tags. Now, Find Tags is wonderful because when I choose Find Tags, a little panel appears on the side of my OneNote page. I can ask to group tags, and I can group them by the name of the tag. And of course, I've got my criticals, my highlights, and my importance, and also my to-dos, which are down here somewhere, my to-dos. Okay, so in here, I can also group my tags with sections or titles or dates. I can do them by date. Okay, what section they're in. Okay, so there's my digital section. I don't have tags anywhere else, so that's the only section that's showing. But I have to show all my tags. This helps me keep my tags on the radar. I can also look for tags in other notebooks, which is very, very cool. Okay, lots and lots of options here for finding my tags. The other thing I can do is I create a whole new page based on all my tags by choosing Create Summary Page. I'm just going to quickly do that. And here it is. Here's a list of all my tags in its own page. Now, it's happened to have picked up one called Critical because it's called Critical, but I could rename that page, remember. I could certainly do that. But I'm going to go back to my tags here again. So lots and lots of things we can do. I'm going to pop that away to make a bit of room. Okay, so these tags here. In this particular one here, define your objectives. I'm sure, and also set a date, I'm sure you recognize this little flag. And I'm hoping you'll remember that you've seen this in Outlook before now, because this is the very same marker that Outlook uses to say, I've got something to do. It's a follow-up. So I'm going to pop out here and see, inside of here, you'll see these are the same tags that Microsoft uses. So I could say here, for example, to define my objectives, I want to follow that up today. I could follow it up tomorrow, or I could follow it up some other time, or I could customize when to follow that up. Okay. Now, the other thing I can do here is I can also open this task inside of Outlook. Now, hopefully all things will work here. There it goes. It's popped into an Outlook for me. And here it is. This is my task right here. Now, if I was able to go into my Outlook easily, then I'd be able to show you how I can utilize this task inside of Outlook, but it's my private Outlook, so it's a little bit hard. So, but what I have done is I've got a wee picture on my presentation, if I can just quickly find it. Inside of my Outlook, this is what I will find. There's my define your objectives and my set a date. Now you can see that Outlook has literally picked up my task because once I opened it, I was able to assign it. I assigned this task to myself or to somebody else, and it then was able to be managed as an ordinary Outlook task. So if you're familiar with Outlook and tasks, then you can just pop into that task once you get there, and you can assign it to a person, you can mark it, you can name it, you can do all these things that you would normally do with a task. Now, there's another side. Oopsie, sorry, one step too far, sorry. The other thing you can do with the task as well, perhaps you've got a task that you set up inside of Outlook, but it's not yet related to your OneNote. You could pop into the task in here and you could right click and you could say send to OneNote. And once you say send to OneNote, you can choose the OneNote notebook and choose the area that you'd like to pop it into. Now, perhaps it's in my ideas worth sharing or something like that. I would just click on that, click on the notebook, and then have it sent to my ideas worth sharing. That will pop up as a task, just as you've seen inside my OneNote, ready to be managed inside OneNote as well. So I think that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing we can do. That's a great thing. All right, so again, we can delete once we've finished, and again, we can manage these tasks if we've marked them inside of Outlook. But there's one more thing I want to show you. Another really cool thing that goes with tasks and it goes with meetings, and that is meetings and agenda. I'm going to pop into this page that I've created. Now, what you're seeing on my page here is a very rustic yet very useful item that came directly from my calendar from today, which was about the meeting that we're currently in. Doesn't look pretty, but it actually is very, very useful. This has given me the meeting subject. This is what Anna sent me, and it's the time, and it's a Zoom link, and I can click here to go to the Outlook item itself. I can link to it here. I can look at it. I can see here the invite. Everything that Anna sent me that's inside of my Outlook, I can bring into OneNote literally at the press of a button. I can also see who's on this meeting with me. I've got a link to Anna and myself. Okay, and if there were any notes, the notes would come through as well. Now let me show you how I did that. It's very, very easy. I'm going to get a blank page because I think it's nice to start fresh so you can see. Here's a blank page. I'm going to go to meeting details, and you'll see that all the meetings that Microsoft 365 know about me today are going to be there in that list. And there it is, ACE Training with Andrea, and there it is. This is the meeting that is the one that's first on my calendar here, and it's appearing right here inside of my OneNote. So it's really, really good. I've got all right there, everything I need. And what else can I do? Of course, I could add any documents I might want to have for that meeting. I could also just add my ad hoc notes right here as I'm taking meeting notes with it. Just like that. See, meeting notes. All right, and that's really quite cool. Okay, so that's a wonderful thing. That's a very, very cool thing to know. I can quickly jump back to it, go back to the main invitation itself at any time. So that's a very, very useful thing. Let me take that one step further with you. There's another feature that we have inside of OneNote, and it's called templates. Now, with our templates, just as we have templates for Word, we have templates for lots of things. OneNote can look pretty boring without some nice looking background, because the cool thing about OneNote as well is we can also send it. We can share a page, we can export, we can print into a PDF if we want to. But it looks pretty boring, doesn't it? It looks just like a whiteboard at the moment. So what we can do as an alternative is we can insert a page template. Now, page templates are built in. I'm using only the default at the moment, the default page, which is white, plain, standard, nothing fancy, OneNote environment. But I can add page. And now watch as I hover, you'll see some templates. Oh, maybe not as I hover. Here we go. Try that one. I made maybe that one. I could also perhaps do some formal meeting notes instead. All right, maybe I want to make formal meeting notes. And then perhaps what I might want to do in here is maybe I might want to move that to one side, just like that. Okay, ready for, and I think I know what you tell me I'm going to do, ready for coming to my home and putting in my meeting details down the side. Okay, so what I could do here is, unfortunately, I don't have the potential, just because of the way that OneNote is, it doesn't have the ability to integrate entirely my meeting beautifully into my meeting detail. So what I could still do though, remember I've got my template that I created here, I could quite easily just disappear with those and pop up to here and have all my other notes coming beautifully from Anna, and then just tidying them up myself once I get here. So I've fully got my meeting notes here. Not very pretty, but remember we've got heading styles and things we can use if you want to make it fancy. But I do have all my other template items here. So it's a little clunky, I know, but it is actually very, very cool. So if you've got the opportunity to use it and do it like this, I would suggest making a space, putting your making room for your meeting details to come in, and then perhaps just working with it. You can soon copy your participants, or you could potentially just use your heading styles and change the way they look using your heading styles, and maybe just changing things like putting your own items on it as well. Okay, just to make it look a bit more interesting and more like it belongs. All right, so just some few ideas for you to do there. But that's really great. Now, what about if you had your own template that you wanted to create? Perhaps you did choose a template that was already existing. So we might go to Insert, we might go to Page Templates here, and we might just put in maybe a push pin. Maybe that's a nice looking one. And we might call this My Master template. Maybe your favorite, that you like the way things to look. What you can do here is you can come under templates, and you can, under here, you can save the current page as a template. So you can make this your template. And I'm going to call it Digi Master. There we go, my Digi Master. I'm going to press save, and what I can do is when I come into any page, I can go to my templates and I can choose DigiMaster. Here's an example of something that I've done previously. I made myself a page that I use when I'm doing a Microsoft 365 consultation, and here it is, all ready for me to start filling things in. Okay, I love using that, but just as well, I've got my DigiMaster one I did here, and there it is as well. Okay, very, very easy. All right, and that was just by using page templates, and then choosing the template either from the list of the presets or my own, or creating a template of my very own. So those of you that love doing meetings, those of you that love doing the agendas, things like that, you could make this. Now, a couple more things I want to show you. Back here under home, I've got something really cute here. I wanted to actually show you this. This is something I love. I am a dreadful typist. I'm even a worse writer. Okay. Now, I wrote this on screen using my draw function here. I grabbed a pen and I said, hello. That's what I did. Okay. Hello. Oops, absolutely terrible. Those of you that have tablets, those of you who have special pens, all those sorts of things, you've got the potential to use this very, very cleverly. What I can do here is if I can take my selection tool, so move away from my text tool, take a selection tool, select my text, automatically up the top here, I have an option that says ink to text. And when I click this with the magic, let's hope, fingers crossed, oh, didn't quite like my text, but I can assure you that when I did it with this one, let me do it again with this one, because I know this one worked. If I go ink to text, it changes it for me. Okay, a little bit of tweaking required possibly, but there you go. You can see how you can change your handwritten notes, if you've got very good writing, into fully visible text, which I think is absolutely wonderful. All right, just going to close that and close that. One other thing I want to show you here was some section features. So if you need to modify or do any planning or, security and management of your sections individually, you can right-click a section. We know we can rename it. You can export it. So you can export a section if you want to share it with others or take it out to a file of some other kind. You can delete it, move or copy. You can merge it with another, and it's not unusual sometimes that you've made two tabs the same. You say, no, actually, I want to merge into one. Very, very cool. Copy a link and so on. But this is quite cool. You can protect your section too with this, with a protect it. Now, what I'm about to show you is that you can share a notebook on Teams. Imagine if there was one particular section that wasn't really suitable for everyone to have, you could password protect it, which means that that's not available unless the person has a password. So that's quite cool as well. The other thing you do is color coding is really important as well. My color for this section is pink, but I'm going to make it into orange, and there it goes. Okay, so that part's all done. Right, something I definitely want to show you. This is very cool. I love collaboration. This is where it really fits beautifully inside of Teams. So inside here, I want to show you this little thing that I'm working on here. I'm going to write you a little note here, and it's going to go, hi, my name is Daisy. Now, I am writing, oopsie, hello, hey, my name, hey, my friend, my name is and Daisy. Here we go. Daisy. There we go. And can you see that coming up on screen? Now, I promise you, I'm not touching my mouse. I am working on this on my cell phone. I'm collaborating on Teams via cell phone as Daisy Duck. I'm Daisy Duck today, and I'm collaborating from my cell phone onto this OneNote. So you can see that having this in Teams is absolutely amazing. And you can see here my notebooks here. Teams have their own notebook. When you create a Teams environment, it naturally has a notebook. And I'll just show you quickly how you connect with it. I've already done it here, but this is how you would do it. Plus and notebook. And it's as easy as that, OneNote. And there it is. That's all I did. And it immediately recognized my digital notebook here that belonged to my team. So please, please, please consider using that. Everything I've shown you today that was just me working on my own notebook is actually collaborative. It's what you can utilize inside of Teams with your people. So you can use it standalone as your own, or you can use it as a collaborative notebook that anyone can use. And of course, we're looking at it in browser view at the moment, which isn't the most fabulous, gorgeous, but you can work on it in a desktop app and still collaborate on it. Okay, my biggest takeaway for you today is remember that collaboration is definitely key inside of anything to do with Microsoft, and OneNote is no different. And Amari, back to you, my friend. I feel like I've rushed through things, but I'm so excited. There was so much to show. But yeah, how did we go today?
Oh, so good. So good. If you want to turn on your camera again too, we can see the lady behind the curtain.
Yeah, let me find my camera.
Sweet.
I've lost my camera. Where am I? Here we go. Back to Zoom again. Oopsie, where am I? I've got so many screens here. Sorry.
There you are.
That.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That was such a, you know what? I could really listen to you all day. Your voice is very easy to listen to, just by the way.
Oh, I got so overexcited. I'm so sorry.
No, I did. Do you know what? It was so easy to follow along. And I love how you reiterate things. Like you go through something, then you kind of touch it really quickly again. So you're like, oh, what did she do? Oh, that's what she did, and that's so useful. Like you could do this underwater. And honestly, you're such a great presenter. I'm just having a look at some of the social media channels, and we're just getting some feedback. Just awesome, because a lot of people have been tuning in with us on social media these days, which is quite cool. But if you guys have questions for Andrea, please drop them in the chat, so the comment section, because this is your opportunity to do that. I mean, we've only got a couple of minutes left, but sometimes with these sessions, I think we're following along, and now we want to go and do it, and then we might. So feel free, if that's you. I know I'm that kind of learner. If you go off and then you're like, oh, what happened here? Feel free to contact support. We can help you there. You can contact these guys here with this email address.
Definitely
happy to help get you sorted. So many applications for these tools. Wow, you can just use them in so many ways. It's amazing. Yeah, very, very cool. So yeah, here we go. So just Andrea is an amazing presenter, and I always enjoy her sessions. Thanks again. Yeah, honestly, you really are. It's so good. That's why last year I said, I need to book you for more sessions. She said, talk to my manager.
Yeah, talk to my agent.
Talk to my agent. It was so funny.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
And then a comment here on social media, just, I will be watching this session again. Fantastic.
Good.
Well, great, guys. Thanks for tuning in on this Friday. This was a great way to kick off the weekend and give us some food for thought in different ways we can use tools that we already have in a more efficient way to collaborate, to, just get more out of these kind of systems so they can work for us instead of the other way around. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So have a wonderful weekend, Andrea. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, everyone.
Ka kite, everyone. See you on